Hello and welcome to the Yoga Project's first online chair yoga class. We're going to do a class today that's based around a chair, and we'll be doing some sitting work and some standing work and some balance work, and then finishing with our relaxation at the end. So if you would all like to find a chair and get comfortable. So sitting in the chair, we're going to start off with our backs nice and supported by the chair. So taking the seat bones right to the back of the chair, making sure that we're sitting right on our seat bones and not sitting on our tailbones. So we're not in a slumped position, we're sitting right on our seat bones. If your feet in this position aren't touching the floor, then maybe try popping a block, have one, or a book, or just something underneath the feet to make sure that your feet are really nicely grounded into the earth, which will really help connect and switch on all the muscles in the body. So, bottom nice and back, pelvis nice and square. We'll just come to a nice, relaxed, seated position, resting the hands either palm down or palm up on the thighs. We'll close our eyes for a moment, start to check in with our bodies. With our eyes closed, start to internalize your thoughts, scanning from the crown of your head all the way down the spine, all the way down to the hips, the thighs, the knees and the feet. Acknowledging every bit of the body, maybe the bits that are a bit achy and the bits that feel good. Noticing if there's any differences between your left side and your right side, your upper back and your lower back. Not trying to change anything, just being aware of how the body feels in this moment. And now start to bring your attention to your breathing. Keeping the eyes closed if you're comfortable with that, or opening them. Bringing your hands onto your belly, fingertips touching. And as we breathe in, see if you can gently feel the fingertips moving apart. And as we breathe out, feeling the fingertips moving back together. Breathing in and breathing out. Moving the fingertips to the side of the ribcage. Breathing in. Breathing out, feeling the air expanding the ribcage. Trying to direct the air into the ribcage. And then placing a hand on the chest. Breathing in. Breathing out, seeing if you can feel the gentle rise of the chest as you breathe in. And then relaxing the breathing, coming back to a normal breath, opening the eyes if they weren't already open. And at this point, if you feel comfortable, maybe shifting your back away from the support of the chair so you're sitting nice and tall and upright and free from the back of the chair. This will increase your level of work. But if it feels uncomfortable, you can always use the support of the chair, but try not to let everything slump. So sitting up tall, maybe at the edge of the chair. Again, making sure the hips and the knees are at about a 90-degree angle. So using the block underneath the foot if you need to. Feeling the pelvis, feeling the backbones growing tall and long, rising out of the pelvis, each backbone lengthening. Shoulders over the pelvis, head over the shoulder. Growing tall from the back of the head, as if there's a hot air balloon floating us out of our bodies. Bringing the fingers into fists, raising the shoulders towards the ears, and then dropping them down. Raising them up, and on the exhalation, dropping them down. Raising them up, squeezing towards your ears. Squeeze, 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 and then dropping them down, releasing the tension in the shoulders, circling the shoulders back. Shaking the wrists and blowing out any tension. So we'll start warming up with the feet. So with the feet on the mat, I don't know if you can see my toes there. I'm just going to start wiggling the toes, keeping the feet on the mat, wiggling the toes. Lifting the toes and wiggling the toes. And we'll start rocking onto the ball of the foot, lifting the heels, and then pushing the heels into the ground and lifting the ball of the foot, wiggling the toes. Pushing onto the toes, rocking onto the heels, wiggling the toes as we do so. Ball of the foot, heel, toes wiggling. And then we'll straighten our left leg, pointing the toes away, and then pulling the toes up towards us, and again giving them a wiggle. Pointing the toes away, pointing the toes up. Breathing in and breathing out, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. Circling the left foot now, circling that left foot round clockwise and anti-clockwise, and then relaxing the foot back down, giving that left leg a little windscreen wipe, side to side, relaxing the breathing. Then with the left leg, straightening the left leg out, toes pointing away, remembering to still be growing tall through the crown of the head, toes up towards us, pointing away. Breathing in and breathing out. Doesn't matter if the leg's not that high, have the leg where it feels comfortable for you. Breathing in and breathing out. Circling the foot clockwise and circling anti-clockwise. Warming up those ankle joints, getting the joint fluid circulating through all the little bones in the feet, keeping those toes wiggling. Placing the foot down and windscreen wiping that leg inwards and outwards. Again, warming up this hip joint, getting that joint fluid circulating. You might find that one hip is stiffer than the other. Maybe doing the other leg and just seeing how much rotation outwards and inwards it might be different on one hip to the other. Warming up those joints. And then we'll start a little bit more movement up the leg. So maybe bringing the left knee up towards our chest. So maybe holding onto the back of the thigh, maybe holding the front of the shin, and just gently bringing that knee in towards us. It might not be a very big movement. Just moving as far as you feel comfortable. Maybe circling that knee, making circles in the air. And placing that foot back down. And then with the other leg, hugging the knee in towards the chest. Maybe round the front of the knee, maybe under the thigh, whatever feels better. Circling that knee, hugging it in. When we're doing that, trying not to let everything round in our back. So still trying to grow tall. You may well round a little bit, that's okay, but trying to resist that. Circling the hip, and then popping that back down and growing tall. And then we'll start bringing our hands onto our hips, our pelvis bones, and we'll rock our pelvis forwards as if our pelvis is a bucket and we're tipping the bucket forward, and then rocking our pelvis back, rocking our pelvis forward and rocking our pelvis back. Just starting to gently mobilise, gently warm up our lower back, continuing to warm up our hip joints. Remembering to breathe in and out. And then we'll start moving higher up the spine. You're going to inhale the arms above the head if you can, but you can bring the arms in front of your chest or keep them relaxed, doesn't matter. But we're going to, if we're moving the arms, bringing them up above the head. And then we're going to turn gently towards the left and bring the arms down if they're up. Bring one hand onto the side of the knee, one hand resting on the back of the chair. And very gently rotating, maybe looking behind you. Breathing in to grow tall and breathing out to rotate. Breathing in and breathing out. And we're not forcing, we're just gently guiding the movement. And then breathing in to come back round. And breathing out to go the other way. Breathing in to grow tall. Breathing out to rotate round. Breathing in to grow tall. Breathing out to rotate round. Gently encouraging that rotation movement. Maybe looking behind you if your neck allows. Or maybe keeping the neck where it feels comfortable. And then bringing the arms back around. And again, doesn't matter if the arms don't go up first, but inhaling the arms up and then bringing them down. And as we come down, we're going to lean down towards the left, dangling this left arm down towards the floor, creating length on the right side of the body, grounding that right buttock into the chair. So we're not lifting the buttock off the chair, the pelvis is staying grounded as we reach and grow tall. Breathing into this side of the body and breathing out. And then inhaling the arms up on the inhale or keeping the arms down by the sides, it doesn't matter. And as we exhale, growing tall through the other side, lengthening this left side of the body, letting the right arm dangle down, creating space, grounding this side down into the chair as you breathe in. And then inhaling, back up to centre, maybe bringing the palms together above the head, maybe bringing the palms together in front of the chest, whichever feels better. Growing tall, maybe pushing those palms together a little bit to create some resistance in the arms, to switch on our muscles. Breathing in and breathing out. And as we exhale, bringing the palms down towards our chest if they're not already there. And then we're going to bring the arms out in front of us. Again, they can be here, they can be here, wherever feels comfortable for you. And we'll start making fists with our fingers, squeezing our fists, and then releasing and spreading the fingers. Making fists and releasing and spreading our fingers. And again, in and spreading. And then this time, keeping the fingers spread, I'm going to drop the fingertips down towards the floor, keeping the arms outstretched, stretching the top arm of the muscles on the arm, stretching the fingers down towards the floor, and then inhaling, floating the fingertips up towards the ceiling, exhaling, dropping them down, inhaling, flexing them up and down, remembering to breathe, and up. And then we'll relax them down, floating them down onto the knees. Sliding the fingers forward along the thighs and over the shins, Rounding the spine and bringing the chin down into the chest. And then reversing, sliding the hands back up towards the hips. Extending, maybe looking up gently or maybe keeping the gaze forward. Exhale, folding forward, bringing the fingers down over the shins. Rounding the spine. Inhaling, coming back up, maybe just gently opening the shoulders, stretching the chest forward, bringing the heart forward. Exhaling, rolling forward. It's a little bit like a cat-cow, this is type of movement. Flexing and extending the spine. And then floating those arms back up. Fingertips up. Fingertips down. And then this time, I'm going to turn the palms up. So you're trying to roll your thumbs over towards the ground with the palms up. And then rolling your hands down, palms down. Palms up and palms down. Now as we do this, see if you can gently bring the hands further and further away. And again, you could be doing this lower down if it's more comfortable for you. The higher your arms, the slightly more challenging and effort you'll need. And you're going to do this until you get your hands like an aeroplane. And then we're going to do palms up. We're going to do palms down, palms up, palms down, and then this time bringing the palms back towards each other, alternately rotating up and down, remembering to breathe, remembering to grow tall through the crown of the head, all the way, and then lowering, floating the arms back down and shrugging the shoulders forwards and backwards, releasing any tension in the shoulders that you might have got from that movement. Resting the palms down on the thighs again. We're just going to move the neck a wee bit. Again, it's not the range that you achieve, it's just moving the neck as comfortably as you can. So we'll start by growing tall on the inhale. Imagine each backbone gently being lifted. And then as you exhale, turning the head to the left, just as far as your head wants to go. Holding here for an inhale. And then as you exhale, coming back to the midline. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, turning the other way. Inhaling and exhaling back to the centre. Itchy nose. You don't need to itch your nose. Inhale, grow tall. And this time we're going to drop the left ear down towards the left shoulder. And as we do so, try not to rotate. So imagine your back of the head is on a wall and you're sliding it sideways, but you're not rotating it, okay? So ear towards the shoulder. And you maybe feel some tightness on the opposite side. Maybe let that arm relax a wee bit. Breathing in and breathing out. Keeping the chin tucked in a little bit if you can. I could feel my chin just poking out there. And that will be because of tightness. So keeping the chin tucked. Bringing the head back up to centre. Breathing in to grow tall. And then exhaling, taking the ear on the other towards the other shoulder. Again, try not to let the chin poke out. Trying not to let the head rotate. Your gaze is forward. Maybe relaxing the arm down, feeling the stretch in this side of the neck. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing that head back up on the inhale. Maybe dropping the chin down towards the chest if that feels comfortable and feeling a stretch at the back of the neck. And then bringing the head back up. Making the legs slightly wider, imagine you're holding onto a stick. Clasping the hands together, imagine you've got that big stick between your hands, and we're going to start stirring the pot. Stirring the pot. So bringing the arms out straight and then hugging them back in. Round. It doesn't matter how big your movements are. You might have a small pot. You might have a slightly bigger pot. And then on the next, back to the middle, we're going to go the other way. Maybe a big pot, maybe a small pot. Maybe you mix it up a little bit. Remembering to breathe. At no point in this practice do we hold our breaths. And then release. And we're just going to give the shoulders a shake and give the legs a shake. Okay. Just move however maybe you feel you want to move. No one's watching you if you're at home on your own. Okay, so we're going to come to the second part of our practice now. We've warmed up all the way up. We're going to start our Utkatasana's, our chair poses that you might remember we've done in the past. So for this, think about tucking your feet slightly further back underneath you. So rather than having your knee at 90 degrees, slide the heel back a little bit. So there's a little bit more of an angle, less of an angle under your knees. And we're going to start by rocking the trunk forward over the thighs and then coming back up. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale to fold forward over the thighs. Gaze is down. So inhaling up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling up. And then this time, on the exhale, I want you to push your feet, push through your heels, and we're going to do a stand. So inhaling to grow tall. Exhale, folding forward at the waist, pushing through the feet, and then hover. Push through the heels to grow tall, straightening the legs, and bringing the arms above the head or in front of the chest, whichever is better for you. And then inhale to grow tall. Exhale, send your bottom bones, send your seat bones back towards the chair. Sending your seat bones back towards the chair, lowering them down. Trust that the chair is there. There it is. And sitting back down. Now you may, if you've not done this for a while, need to just give yourself a little push with your hands as you come up. That's okay. But I remember last time everyone really got the hang of this without their hands, and that's what we're aiming for. So we'll do this a few times. I'm aware that my head disappeared out of shot then, but I'll adjust the camera in a moment. Inhale to grow tall, exhale, folding forward, pushing through the feet, hovering the bottom, pushing, straightening the legs, pushing the heels into the ground, bringing the arms either above the head, palms together, or in front of the chest, palms together. Inhale to grow tall. Make sure you can wiggle those toes. They're not gripping the floor. Wiggling the toes, weight in the heels. Send the bottom bones back towards the chair. Slow and controlled, knowing that the chair is there. Coming back to the middle. Okay, forwards, pushing, lifting, hovering, and then straightening. Inhaling, exhaling, sending the bottom back. Maybe hovering if you feel you can, or maybe just lowering, hovering, and lowering. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can bring one foot, stagger the feet. So one foot is further forward than the other. And it's the leg that's further back that's going to be doing more of the work. So as we come forward, pushing, and lifting. And then sending the bottom back. And remember, we're moving the hip back. We're not putting pressure through the knees. So kind of keep your weight in your heel as you lower back down. And if you staggered your legs, let's switch to the other side. If you're keeping your legs the same, just keep going. Forward and pushing. And lowering, sending the bottom back, sending the bottom back. Trying not to land too heavily. Forward and lifting. And lowering. And releasing. Okay, I'm just going to change my camera angle. I'm hoping that's better, I think. Right, so we'll do it like this. So we're going to stand up now, bring our hands to rest on the back of the chair. Gaze will be forward. Feet are hip width apart. I'm just having a look at our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Weight more in the heels than in the ball of the foot. So about 70% of the weight in the heels and 30% in the ball of the foot. Making sure our toes can be wiggling. Feeling our hips stacked over our pelvises, so we're not kind of angled forward. We're not angled back as much as you can, hips over ankles, shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. We'll start by raising our heels on the inhale and then lowering down on the exhale. Inhaling, growing tall, raising the heels, exhaling, down. We're going to repeat this 5 or 10 times, whichever you feel you can manage. So this is number 4. And number 5. Have a rest now if you want to, or work up towards the 10. Three more. And relax. Pedaling out the legs a little bit. That is always something that you could do on single leg if you want to make it harder. So you could always float one leg up and do it single-legged if you wanted it to be more of a challenge. But for today, we'll stick with the 2 legs. Okay, growing tall. Inhaling, we're going to float the right leg out towards the side and pop it back in. So heel towards the side, keeping the leg straight and back in. Out and in. And out and in. Again, we're going to do 10. This is number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Stopping to rest at any point that you have had enough. We'll do this on the other leg. Standing through the right leg, grounding through the right leg, floating the left leg out to the side. And as we do this, we're not letting our trunks move. Our trunks are staying long and strong. And it's just our leg and our hip, the muscles around the hip that are moving. I've lost count now. 5, I think. 6. Keeping the balance on the chair if we need it. If you wanted to try a bigger challenge, maybe floating the arm off or having the arms on. 1 more, and down, and pedaling out the legs. Okay, growing tall again. We're going to take the legs out behind us now, standing on the left leg, engaging through our left sides of our bodies, growing tall, leading with the heel as you take your leg out behind you, squeezing the bottom muscle, placing the leg back down, taking the leg out, placing it back down. And what I don't want to see at the moment is this, so we're not moving the trunk forward. The trunk is staying up, right? And it is the hip joint using these bottom muscles that's doing the movement. You may have a small amount of movement. It doesn't matter. Depends how much extension your hip joint has got. But I want it to be the hip that's moving. Oh, and you'll feel it in your standing leg as well. Oh, I am, and relax. Doing that on the other leg. So growing tall, standing, grounding through the right leg, growing tall through the trunk, and then extending that left hip. Remembering it's the hip that we're moving. Maybe balance challenge if you want to take your hands off, or keeping the arms down. And pulsing that left heel back behind us. Remembering to breathe. Remembering to release tension in the shoulders. 1 more. And down. And releasing, just moving the hips from side to side, maybe circling a little bit. So we're going to move that into a warrior 3 type movement. So this time we are allowing our trunks to move forward. So starting as we did before, hands resting on the chair, taking the right leg out behind you, squeezing from the bottom muscle. And then, if you've taken that out as far as it will go, then start to bring the trunk down towards the chair. Trunk down as the right leg floats up. Just taking it as far as you can go. Doesn't matter how high the leg goes. Gaze is down, back of the neck is long. Breathing in and breathing out. Seeing if you can still wiggle your toes so you're not collapsing through the left foot. And then inhaling, sending the leg back down and releasing. Other side. Fingertips on the chair. Trying not to grip the chair, just trying to rest the fingertips on the chair. Sending the left leg out behind you as far as it will go before you start to feel your trunk moving forwards. Sending the trunk down, gaze is down. Breathing in and breathing out. Warrior 3 pose, Virabhadrasana 3. And then coming back out on the inhale. And stepping the feet. Well done, everyone. Giving everything a bit of a wiggle again. So we're going to come into our traditional warrior poses now. We're going to do warrior 1 and warrior 2 before we do our balance work. So, for those of you that haven't quite remembered what our warrior 1 was, I'll show you without the chair first so you can see the position. I'm hoping. Let me just see. So, for warrior 1, we're going to be facing forwards and we're going to step our right leg back behind us. The knee is stacked over the ankle and the back foot the back foot is at what we call a kind of 45-degree angle. So kind of facing slightly out to the side, so it's not facing completely forwards, it's not kind of facing backwards, it's kind of facing halfway house. So front leg, knee over ankle, back leg straight, foot pointing slightly out to the side, pelvis is facing forwards. We're trying to stack our rib cage over our pelvis. Our shoulders are relaxed. And then we float the arms up above our heads. Warrior one. Now if we wanted to use the chair for this, we would have the chair placed in front of that foot, the front leg. And we can either use both arms on the chair for balance, leaving the arms there, or you could maybe float one arm up and then switch arms, keeping the gaze forward. I know you can't see my head in this. I need to work on that. Warrior one. Engaging through that front leg, engaging through that back leg, keeping that back leg strong and straight, front leg bent. And then we're going to step that back leg through to meet our front leg. And repeat on the other side. So this time stepping the left leg back. Right knee is bent, knee over ankle. And try not to let the knee kind of wobble in. See if you can try and keep the knee lined up with the hip. Placing that back foot down so it's slightly angling forward but not completely forward. Bending that right knee, pelvis, rib cage, shoulders. Maybe floating both arms up, or maybe keeping the hands rested on the chair for balance. Using that back leg bottom muscle, engaging that back leg bottom muscle. Breathing in and breathing out. And then stepping that left leg back up towards the chair. So for our warrior two, I'll show you the warrior two position first as a reminder. This time, front leg facing forward as we did for warrior one, but this time the foot of the other leg, rather than angling slightly forward like we did in warrior one, you're going to have the toes facing in the 90-degree angle to the other foot, if that makes sense. So bending the front knee. If you've got a mat, then it's the long edge of your foot lined up with the short edge of the mat. So the hips and the pelvis are angling outwards this time rather than forwards, angling outwards. Front knee is bent, knee over ankle, back leg is straight, and we float the arms out to the side and we gaze over the front arm. And we try not to let our back arm sag. Keep that arm floated nice and long. And our rib cage, our muscles are engaged to keep us growing tall. And again, if you're using the chair for this pose, have the chair in front of that front leg and resting the hand on the chair for balance. Breathing in and breathing out. And then stepping the back leg to meet the front leg and repeating with the other leg. So growing tall through the right leg, stepping the left leg behind. So this time the back foot is angling in the other direction. Bending the front knee, knee over ankle, strong and long back leg. Pelvis, ribcage and shoulders lined up, chest is opening out, floating the arms up. Palms are down, and we're gazing over the front arm. Or we may have that front arm balancing on the chair if we need to. Remembering to keep breathing as we step that back leg through to meet the front leg. And then we have a little bit of a march it out. Okay, We're going to come into our tree pose part of the class. Okay, so tree pose. Options for tree pose. If we're not using the chair, you can start off by putting the ball of the foot down onto the ground and have the heel resting against the calf of the other leg. What we don't want to see is bowing over trees, so keeping strong through this standing leg, grounding through the foot, keeping the toes wiggling, growing tall through the crown of the head. And then progressions are to just raise the foot higher up the standing leg, wherever you feel comfortable placing the leg. Just making sure that if your foot is in this area by the knee, you're not pushing into it. So it's best to try and avoid either below the knee. It's best to try and do below the knee or above the knee, but not on the knee. Okay, so obviously we can use the chair here to help us balance, either with one hand and floating the other arm up towards the ceiling, or you can stand in front of the chair and have both hands on the chair if that felt more comfortable. And we're blowing the arms maybe in the wind, challenging our balance by maybe moving our trunks, but staying grounded through the standing leg. Maybe closing our eyes if we want a little bit more of a balance challenge, holding onto the chair for support. A few more seconds on this leg, growing tall, growing strong through that standing leg, remembering to not hold our breath and releasing. And we'll do that on the other leg. So I'm just going to move the chair over, but you can always turn around. Okay, so options: ball of the foot and heel, bringing the foot up onto the leg, and gradually taking it higher if that's comfortable. But if you are taking it higher, trying not to let everything sag out. So keeping that standing leg long and strong, creating length in the whole body, so we're still floating through the back of our head, we're still breathing, we're still keeping our abdomen muscles working. We're maybe bringing the arm above the head, or maybe bringing the other arm above the head, or we're keeping both arms on the chair and we're facing the chair, whichever option you feel happy with. We're maybe closing our eyes, but all the time remembering to breathe, remembering to keep mindful awareness through our whole body. Toes are wiggly, we're not gripping with those toes. And release. And a wiggle. And then we're going to come back into sitting on our chair. Let's do one more Utkatasana chair. So standing in front of your chair, nice and grounded through the legs, inhaling the arms up above the head, palms together, exhale, bringing the palms down towards the chest as you send your bottom back towards the chair, trusting that it's there. Whoop. And sitting. And releasing. We're going to come to our relaxation. So for this point, we're going to use the chair as a support again. So if you've been sitting on the edge of your chair for the work, bring your bottoms back towards the back of the chair. Maybe put something under your feet at that point if your feet feel like they're not really grounded. Maybe put a cushion behind your back, which is what I'm going to do because this chair's not the best shape. So that I can really relax into the back of this chair without feeling like I slump. So I'm popping the cushion right in, keeping my bottom right back, feet are grounded. Arms are resting, palms up on my thighs. Checking in, pelvis ribcage, shoulders, crown of head. Closing my eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. Directing the thoughts inwards. Bringing the thoughts back towards the breath. The inhale and the exhale. The inhale, the exhale. And with every inhale, feeling the energy and the nourishment that it brings. And with every exhale, feeling the release of tension, the relaxation. Maybe tensing the fists, making fists with the hands and curling the toes into the floor. Maybe tensing every muscle in the body that you can feel. Tensing, screwing at the eyes, forehead, clenching the teeth. And then relaxing everything. Feeling the difference between the tension and the relaxation. Sighing out the breath. Sighing out the tension. Scanning through the body for any areas that might still be holding on to tension. Maybe the jaw is clenched. Gently drop the bottom jaw away from the top jaw. Maybe there's tension around the eyes and the forehead. Consciously release that tension away. Maybe there's tension around the shoulders. Maybe squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. And then on the exhale, release that tension away. Breathing in. And breathing out. Maybe feeling any tension in the abdomen, in the stomach. Letting the breath massage the belly as you breathe in and out. Feeling the diaphragm lift and fall. As you breathe in and out, letting go of any tension. Maybe wiggling the legs, releasing any tension in the hips and thighs. Breathing in and breathing out. Calming the mind. Sending away any thoughts that are distracting us from this moment. Knowing that you can let those thoughts back in. Those lists that need completing. Jobs that need doing. Can be done later. This moment is to nourish yourself, to energize yourself, recharge those batteries. Breathing in and breathing out. And you can keep that practice going for as long as you want, as long as you have available to you. Keeping the breath going, keeping the relaxed state of mind. I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for joining me for my first online chair yoga class.